Hey man, I don't know what's going on, but y'all need to check on y'all people. If y'all know this car right here, they dead. Cuz gonna be right here. Gonna be right here. I'm gonna move around. Hey man, it's ugly out here. 18th Ridgeway, Holy shit.
He ready to start chasing. Fucking him up, big. I don't know why fucking him up. I told him, blood. This is too bad. He let them fella get it. Yeah, what you say, quick? His ass left. Oh my dear grandma. Early morning. Turn them fucking lights off, dummy. He turned his lights off. He knew. Slow down, Vic. Slow down, Vic. Slow down, Vic. Slow down, Vic. No, I ain't scared of shit. He down his leg.
And now on to a deadly discovery after a woman was found dead inside a van in Fort Lauderdale.
The back windows of the van appeared to be shot out.
Things in this Fort Lauderdale neighborhood really quiet now, but last night this was a very busy scene.
This is Dorothy Smart, a 25-year-old mother, neighbor, and beloved member of her Fort Lauderdale community, who would be found murdered in her own driveway on September 13th, 2023. But Dorothy wasn't just any victim of random violence in South Florida. She was the mother of Psycho Bob, a rising rapper signed to Kodak Black's notorious sniper gang label. Let's take you back to that scene last night, because the question now is, was her death retaliation for her son's diss tracks that crossed a line nobody should ever cross? On that humid September evening, just as the sun began its descent over Broward County, police received a call that would shake the very foundations of South Florida's street rap scene. Responding officers arrived at the home on Northwest 30th Way and 21st Street at 6:08 in the evening. Inside a van parked in the driveway sat Dorothy Smart, her life stolen by gunshot wounds, the back window shattered into a spiderweb of broken glass that told the story of a targeted execution. There was no robbery or burglary, no sign that this was anything other than a deliberate, calculated hit. The detectives who combed through the scene that evening understood immediately what they were dealing with. This was personal.
Now, we have been able to confirm through family and neighbors, this woman was named Dorothy Smart. She went by Dee Dee. Neighbors say she was a lovely person, an absolutely great person to be around. We have also confirmed she is the mother of South Florida rapper Psycho Bob.
The woman everyone in the neighborhood knew simply as Dee Dee had lived her life far removed from the dangerous world her son inhabited. She wasn't involved in the streets, wasn't part of any gang activity, and by all accounts was simply a kind, warm-hearted civilian trying to live her life in peace.
Let's get to that video, bro. To see the man mom like this hurt me, dog. Let me play it. Let me show it.
Her neighbors would later tell investigators and reporters,
You gotta watch your surroundings, cause like this is tragic, cause that's the mama and then her kids.
that Dorothy was the type of person who'd wave hello from her driveway, who'd chat about the weather and ask about your family, who embodied everything good about community and kindness. But her son's world of diss tracks, street beefs, and gang affiliations had followed her home in the most devastating way imaginable. Now here's where this story gets even twisted, even more heartbreaking and frankly more disturbing than you could possibly imagine. At the exact moment Dorothy Smart was being murdered in her driveway, her son Cambrell Psycho Bob Smart was sitting in a federal prison cell serving a 5-year sentence for illegal gun possession.
Regardless of who he is, man, my heart really went out to him to find out that his mom was killed while he's in prison. Like, that's just a horrific situation, man. So Psycho Bob, man, I hope you're okay.
But what led to this? Why would anyone target a woman who had absolutely nothing to do with the streets? To understand that, we need to rewind the clock and dive deep into the treacherous, violent world of Broward County street rap. We need to talk about the ongoing beef between Psycho Bob's circle and their rivals. A conflict that became so vicious that it would eventually claim the lives of not just gang members and rappers, but their mothers too. In the gritty neighborhoods of Fort Lauderdale, where Psycho Bob, born Cambrell Jamal Smart on October 29, 1993, grew up immersed in street life from an early age. By the time he was 13 years old, Smart already had his first brush with the law on drug possession charges.
You got to pick that, it's a fork in the road. You got to get that job, that 9 to 5, or you got to jump off that porch. You feel me? Yeah. What was your choice?
Jump off that porch.
Jump out that porch. How early was it?
I caught my first charge, delivery of cocaine at 13. 12 or 13.
12 or 13. That's a young age, my G.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was the situation when you caught that charge? I mean, like, you caught a dope charge. So what they did, juvenile shit or what?
Yeah, it was juvenile. Cause like when I caught the charge, I was playing football. That's when I was playing for Danny Bulldog. I was walking to practice, and that's when the Raiders jumped out and grabbed me.
But that was just the beginning of what would become an extensive criminal history that included serious convictions for robbery and attempted murder, permanently branding him as a multi-time felon under Florida and federal law. These weren't just youthful mistakes or minor infractions. These were violent crimes that set the trajectory for everything that would follow. By 2019, Psycho Bob had channeled his street experiences into music, releasing his debut albums, Nightmare Baby and Psychopath, tracks that delved deep into themes of violence, loyalty, and survival in Broward's underworld. In 2021, Smart's career trajectory shifted dramatically when he joined Kodak Black's Sniper Gang Collective, a move that elevated his profile through high-profile collaborations, including a feature on Kodak's track Righteous Reapers. But this affiliation came with a price. It tied him directly to Kodak's network, and more importantly, to Kodak's enemies. The beef that would eventually claim Dorothy Smart's life had been simmering for years, involving Psycho Bob and his Sniper Gang associates against rivals like HMT Trey and Liberia Sig. And the origins of this conflict trace back to a murder that shocked Broward County in July 2021, when Misty Hopkins, HMT Trey's mother, was shot and killed while walking to her nail salon. The attack was targeted, execution style. No robbery occurred, nothing was taken, leading investigators to immediately suspect this was retaliation connected to her son's street activities. This murder would set off a chain reaction of violence. Just weeks after Misty Hopkins was murdered, in late July 2021, violence struck Psycho Bob's circle directly. Psycho Bob and 2 associates were ambushed in a drive-by shooting on State Road 7 in Lauderhill. At approximately 3 in the afternoon, their tan sedan was targeted by assailants in a black BMW, who unleashed a barrage of gunfire. Bullets riddled their vehicle, forcing them to crash into other cars before coming to a halt. But here's where the situation escalated from attempted murder to all-out warfare on the streets. The attacker circled back for a second round of shots, and Psycho Bob's crew returned fire, turning a busy Lauderhill intersection into a war zone. Shell casings littered the street, bystanders dove for cover, and somehow, miraculously, all 3 victims survived with non-threatening injuries. This is where diss tracks entered the game. And Psycho Bob didn't just diss his Opps street cred or their rap skills, he went after their families, crossing a line that many consider sacred even in the midst of deadly beefs. In May 2022, Psycho Bob released Stepdaddy, a track that directly targeted Liberia Sig by boasting about romantic involvement with his mother, positioning himself as a stepdaddy in the lyrics.
Hey man, I don't know what's going on, but y'all need to check on y'all people. If y'all know this car right here, they dead. Cuz gonna be right here. Gonna be right here. I'm gonna move around. Hey man, it's ugly out here. 18th Ridge Way. Holy shit.
Old footage began circulating on social media showing Psycho Bob in a mall, confronting rivals and openly disrespecting their mothers in front of crowds. The rivals responded with their own diss tracks, including FTO by HMT Trey and Liberia Sig, which contained lines aimed at Kodak Black and his associates, keeping the cycle of disrespect spinning faster and faster.
The Jack boy. I don't know if that's even a real tweet.
Shit, it was real tweet.
You feel
real
me?
tweet and shit.
So Jeff, from you being so close, like, what's your opinion about that?
Shit, what it sound like? Shit, that like, you feel me? He speaking facts. You feel me? Ain't no details or nothing. Like, you probably miss, bro. You really, bro, probably know he miss him. I don't know. You feel me? I ain't really talked to him about Jack Boy, about the little situation with him and all that though. So like, I'm in a blind like your ass right now, 'cause like I ain't really thinking about what's going on with them boys or getting in their situation right now. Just
so with your own thing, you just do your own thing. You don't even probably get into that.
Anything.
While Psycho Bob's music career was gaining traction, his legal troubles were simultaneously spiraling out of control. On January 5th, 2022, at approximately 3 a.m, Florida Highway Patrol troopers pulled him over on Interstate 75 in Collier County for speeding. What started as a routine traffic stop quickly escalated when troopers detected the smell of marijuana emanating from the vehicle. A subsequent search uncovered a plastic bag of marijuana in the center console and, most damaging for a convicted felon, a loaded firearm with 17 rounds wedged between the seats. For most people, this might result in state charges and perhaps probation, but for Psycho Bob, with his extensive criminal history, including prior convictions for robbery and attempted murder, this was a federal offense under Project Safe Neighborhoods. The wheels of justice turned slowly but inevitably. On December 1st, 2022, Smart pled guilty to possession of a firearm and ammunition by a convicted felon. 3 months later, on March 28, 2023, United States Judge Sherry Polster Chappell handed down a sentence that would change everything. 60 months in federal prison, followed by 3 years of supervised release. Smart attempted to challenge this sentence, filing a motion in 2023 citing the Supreme Court's Bruin decision on Second Amendment rights, but his appeal was denied in July 2024, with courts upholding that constitutional protections don't extend to convicted felons possessing firearms. So there sat Psycho Bob in federal custody, 6 months into a 5-year sentence, when the worst possible news arrived. His mother had been murdered.
But it's a viral video of him taunting somebody else's mom who was killed years prior.
What I think about that? Have they caught the killers yet?
No.
Children of the corn. What mama do? Y'all go, you can't make me believe. Couple years ago, he made fun of a nigga mama getting killed, so his mama got killed, and karma done that.
The immediate aftermath of Dorothy Smart's murder was shocking. While Fort Lauderdale police initially released no information about a motive, the streets had their own theories, and social media exploded with speculation that this was retaliation for Psycho Bob's disses.
Now your ass is food, dumbass bitch. You ain't trying to fuck my dog, then you can't stay. Free my nigga Toto. Yeah. Nigga say he fucked my mama, right? I don't know what the fuck happened, but I just never mind. Like, we ain't sweep these niggas crew. It's mafia shit. You niggas know mafia around the city, man. Stop flagging. Like, get back a motherfucker. Long little mom.
Comments flooded platforms formerly known as Twitter, with some users expressing sympathy for Dorothy, while others pointed to the cruel irony of a man who publicly disrespected his opponent's mothers now suffering the same fate. From his prison cell, unable to protect his family or even properly mourn his mother, Psycho Bob faced a nightmare that few can imagine. Adding insult to devastating injury, scammers immediately attempted to exploit the tragedy by setting up fake funeral fundraisers, forcing Smart to issue warnings via social media urging fans to avoid unauthorized donations. But the story of who killed Dorothy Smart and why remained shrouded in mystery for over a year. The case went cold, with no arrests or suspects publicly named and no official motive announced. Detectives worked the case, following leads, conducting interviews, and analyzing evidence, but publicly there was silence. That silence would finally be broken in November 2024 when a massive gang investigation culminated in arrests that would shed new light on Dorothy's murder, though perhaps not the light that many expected. In November 2024, 8 members of the Dania Hot Boys gang, also known as Grand Mafia, were arrested and charged in a series of murders, including Dorothy Smarts. 2 suspects, Gerard Charles and Tyreek Jackson, were specifically tied to her killing. The indictments framed Dorothy's murder not as isolated revenge for diss tracks, but as part of broader gang-related violence sweeping through Broward County. The Dania Hot Boys gang faces charges for 8 different murders, suggesting a pattern of violence that transcends individual rap feuds.
But to understand just how deeply these worlds overlap, you have to understand the ecosystem that created them. South Florida, especially Broward County, isn't just a backdrop for rap beefs. It's an environment where street politics, neighborhood allegiances, and personal reputations form a kind of social currency. And in that world, a diss track isn't just music, it's a message, it's a move on the chessboard, it's a declaration that can carry the same weight as a confrontation on the street corner. In places like Fort Lauderdale, Pompano, Lauderhill, and Dania Beach, crews and cliques have histories going back years, sometimes decades. Long before anybody involved had a YouTube channel, a viral music video, or a record deal, loyalties were being tested in real life. So when someone disses a rival's dead friend, or mocks their mother, or claims responsibility for a shooting in a song, it's not taken as entertainment. It's not seen as just bars. It becomes part of the ongoing scorecard that determines whether someone is respected, feared, or targeted. And what's even more tragic is that a lot of the people caught in these cycles weren't trying to be part of it. The mothers, the brothers, the cousins, the girlfriends, anyone connected to someone with a name in the streets becomes vulnerable. Because in this culture, violence doesn't just move forward, it moves sideways. If someone can't reach the person they want, they go after the people around them. It's the darkest, most destructive form of leverage imaginable. In the years leading up to Dorothy Smart's murder, you could see this escalation happening in real time across South Florida. Diss tracks became more brazen. Social media live streams became battlegrounds where rivals would argue, threaten, and sometimes even reveal their locations. People weren't settling scores quietly anymore. They were doing it publicly for thousands of viewers. And every disrespectful lyric, every taunt, every viral moment added fuel to a fire that nobody was actually controlling. To make matters worse, law enforcement in South Florida has repeatedly warned that gangs are increasingly using rappers and music videos as extensions of their influence. A rising rapper brings attention, and attention brings money through shows, streams, clout, and connections. And where there's money, rival groups want a piece, or at the very least, want to make sure their enemies don't get it. That's why these conflicts don't stay in the music industry. They seep into real life, into neighborhoods, into schools, and ultimately into the homes of people like Dorothy.
Gang members are often rappers, rappers are often gang members, and the beefs that play out in diss tracks are frequently extensions of street conflicts that existed long before anyone picked up a microphone. What makes this situation even more complex is the broader context of violence that had been consuming Broward County for years. Misty Hopkins, HMT Trey's mother, was murdered in July 2021 under circumstances strikingly similar to Dorothy Smart's death. Targeted, execution style, while the rapper's son sat behind bars or otherwise unavailable. Other associates on both sides of various beefs had been killed or seriously wounded in the years leading up to Dorothy's murder. The violence had been escalating, with each killing demanding retaliation. Each retaliation demanding counter-retaliation, creating a cycle that consumed not just the participants, but their families as well. As of November 2025, Psycho Bob remains incarcerated at FCI Beckley in West Virginia, with a projected release around 2027 accounting for good time credits. He's lost years of his life, his freedom, and most devastatingly, his mother, all while the music that helped fuel these conflicts continues to rack up views on YouTube and streams on Spotify. Meanwhile, the rivals who may have been involved in his mother's death have continued releasing their own diss tracks, with rappers like Murda Dex dissing Dorothy Smart's memory in songs that threaten Psycho Bob's children and predict his death upon release from prison. And while 8 gang members now face justice for her murder and others, the larger question remains: How many more Dorothy Smarts will there be before this culture of violence finally breaks? How many more mothers will pay the ultimate price for their sons' words and actions? And most disturbingly, how many people will watch these tragedies unfold, stream the diss tracks, and treat real murders as entertainment without ever considering the human cost behind every bullet fired? Let me know what you think in the comment section. Click on one of the cards on your screen to see more videos like this.